Well, day 4 of Royal Ascot is out of the way, and it was a day to remember for Frankie Dettori, not only getting his 80th winner at Royal Ascot, but also his 81st with a double on the card. The first race was won by Frankie himself. The Albany Porter Fortura was won, trained by Donica O'Brien. What a brilliant performance. This horse is now 3 from 3. She is tough as old boots, won her Group 3 last time out, coming over to Ascot, and just looks to be a horse on the real improve. Soprano ran well. I thought she was at the wrong side of the track, and it looks like she will be campaigning towards the 1,000 guineas next year. The second race was the Commonwealth Cup, and what a performance. This is undoubtedly the performance of the day, and could even be the performance of the week from Shaquille. Shaquille missed the break, reared up, lost many lengths, and you don't see many horses win over 6 furlongs after losing that amount of ground. And however, under Oisin Murphy, he galvanised him to get up and win by a length and a quarter from Little Big Bear. But Shaquille, what a performance. Brilliant ride from Oisin, trained by lovely people with Julie Camacho and Steve Brown over in Malton. That was brilliant to see. Performance of the day, if not the week so far. The Duke of Edinburgh, the third race of the day. This suited horses on the back end because up front they went very fast, and it suited a horse called Akita Sushi, ridden by Ryan Moore for Joseph O'Brien. So Joseph, Donica and Aidan have all got winners at this year's Royal Ascot. So that suited horses from behind. I thought Ryan gave it a very cool ride. The race after that was the Coronation Stakes. This was basically a matchup of the Guineas horses, Meditate and Tahira. Tahira won the race very convincingly. I thought Meditate underperformed, but there was a steward's inquiry into the race with Remarquee. Tahira and Remarquee had a bit of a scrimmage around with a furlong to go, but the race was never going to get overturned. Dermot Weld was very confident after the race that he would keep it. This horse has had a very, very busy spring and early summer, and it sounds like she'll be having a break now, and she could be campaigned to a race over in America for the Breeders' Cup. The race after that was the Sandringham, a complete cavalry charge, 3-year-old fillies. This was won by the man of the moment, Frankie Dettori, getting his double on the day by Capice. Capice, she won the race well. It was a very simple ride for him, really. There was a lot of talk about this horse potentially going to the Guineas. She didn't do that. She went to the Sandringham and won like a group horse in a handicap. The race after that was the King Edward. This was won by King of Steel. That Derby form has been rubber stamped. King of Steel obviously was second in the Derby to Augustus Rodin and went on and proved himself today at Ascot. Arrest was the disappointment of the race. A lot of people talked about soft ground. He's a soft ground horse, and I gave him the benefit of the doubt, and the people were correct. He is a soft ground horse. Didn't go on the good to firm ground, and he was also behind Artistic Start and Dubai Mile, so that Derby form has really been rubber stamped. I won't be backing him again until he gets soft ground. He could be a little each way bet though in a race like the Arc. He usually gets soft ground and over the trip. I think he could be a bit of a price, especially after today's run. And the final race on the day was the Palace of Holyrood House Handicap. Archie Watson and Holly Doyle have got something about 5 furlongs, and Ascot obviously this year and last year with Bradsell. I thought that was a very good race. The second was very close, Kurdos, and I think both of them will go quite high up in the handicap because they pulled well clear of third. However, no further ado, the first race tomorrow is the Chesham. Last year was won by Holloway Boy, who we see later on in the card tomorrow. The Chesham is 7 furlongs, 2-year-olds only, and look, as we've seen this week, there can be some shocks in these 2-year-old races at Ascot, but a horse called Pearls and Rubies, this won over 5 furlongs, first time out over in Ireland for Aidan O'Brien, the smooth operator, and Ryan Moore. This is the favourite, a 9-4 favourite in the race, this lovely filly of No Nay Never. She looked like she needed every yard of that run first time out of 5 furlongs, and I think there could be a little bit more left in the locker over 7 furlongs. Another horse is one of Richard Fahey's. Richard doesn't usually go away from Ascot without picking up a bit of silverware, and he trains Golden Mind in this race, a son of Galileo Gold. This horse won at Leicester last time out. Leicester is a fairly stiff track, usually takes a horse needs to gallop out well at the finish to win at Leicester, and he certainly did that, and a step up to 7 over the stiff 7 at Ascot. This could suit him. So Golden Mile could run well at a price, but I think Pearls and Rubies would be the worthy favourite, and she is at 9-4. The race after that, race 2, this is the Jersey. This is for 3-year-olds only, over 7 furlongs, and what another competitive race we've got on the cards. I think the form horse in the race is the Antarctic. He's been running over 6 furlongs, won a Group 3 last time out, and back up to 7, I think could certainly be a plus for the men. Aidan O'Brien and Rymer training for the lads, as he called them, with the Coolmore gang. Another horse in the race, this is the favourite, this is Covey for Frankie Dettori. John and Teddy Gosden won last time out, made all. Whether it's up to this standard, whether it can match whether he can match the form horses, I am not 100% convinced, and at 2-1 I couldn't really be getting too much involved. A memorable winner of Ascot last year, he won the Chesham first time out. Holloway Boy is saddled in this race for Carl Burke and Cliff Lee. This horse had a very consistent 2-year-old season. He looked like a horse who would get better as he got older, being by Ulysses. And his first run this year, his only run so far this year, came in the 2000 Guineas. He finished 9th that day. He didn't run a great race, but if you can forgive him for that, he could be going into this chance. Obviously, he's already a Royal Ascot winner at around 9-1, having an each-way chance. Another form horse in the race. This is the only filly in the race. This is Olivia Meralda for Roger Varian, ridden by Kevin Stott for the Ammo Boys. The Ammo Boys have had 2 Royal Ascot winners so far this week, the first 2 they've ever had, so very well done to Keir and his team. Olivia Meralda slooshed up at Epsom last time out and goes into this race with a great chance. But the 2 form horses in the race would be the ones I would be the most keen on. Look, there's the obvious favourite, which is Covey, but I couldn't be getting involved in him at 2-1. But Olivia Meralda and the Antarctic at 5-1 and 6-1, I think they could both run big races in the Jersey. Race 3. On the final day, day 5 of Royal Ascot. This is the Queen Elizabeth II Jubilee Stakes, and there is 6 horses coming from abroad, not counting the Irish horses in this race. There is 3 Australian horses, 1 American horse, 1 French horse, and 1 from Hong Kong. But there's 1 horse I will be talking about. I talked about her the other day when she was 2nd in the King's Stand. This is the Globetrotter. This is the People's Racehorse. This is Highfield Princess. As I've mentioned, she was once a moderate middle-of-the-road handicapper, and now she is one of the highest rated mares in the world, rated 119. A lot of people wouldn't be keen on horses backing up from such a good run because she had a fairly tough race the other day in the King's Stand, but she's so versatile. She's won over 5, she can win over 6, she can win over 7, she can win over any of them distances, and she's an 11-2 chance, and I think she's got a great each way chance. Personally, I'll be backing her to win this race because I don't think she'll run well finishing 2nd or 3rd. I think she'll either win or finish out the back, but she's the kind of horse who gets better the more races she has through her season, and running the other day, I think that could have just put her spot on for the Queen Elizabeth II Jubilee Stakes. Obviously it's a Group 1, over 6 furlongs, and for John Quinn and Jason Hart, hopefully this can top off Jason's good week so far. Race 4 on day 5 of Royal Ascot. This is the Hardwick. This is over 1.5 miles, a Group 2, and I think Hookham will really have to underperform to lose this race. I think this is his race to lose. Frankie Dettori's got another good ride in the race, free wind. Impressive at York last time out, but I think really Hookham will have to underperform to lose this race. Pile Driver is in this race. He won the King George at Ascot last year back in July. I was actually the underbidder on this horse as a whole 6 years ago. What a story that would have been if I had him. Unfortunately, I don't know, but I think Hookham will have to underperform to win the Hardwick. And race 5 on day 5, this is the Wokingham. 31 runners go to post. This is a complete cavalry charge, one of the big betting races of the week. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but not Highfield Princess, the same connections as Highfield Princess, Mr. Wagyu. He is a punter's favourite. This, again, like Highfield Princess, was once a very middle-of-the-road handicapper, and now he's rated into the high 90s, and he's a very high-class handicapper. He was 4th in this race 12 months ago off a £5 higher mark, running a great race, not beaten that far. He's a horse who only wins in June and July, and his last two, so he's currently had 5 runs so far this year. He's only been in the first 3 once. He was in the first 3 2 starts ago at Epsom. I thought he was a little bit unlucky not to win that race. Obviously, we were into June when he ran at Epsom, so the penny will have dropped with him. And last time out at Haydock, he went off the red-hot favourite and underperformed. I think he was at the wrong side of the track, though. There was a big bias that day. 18 to 1, Mr. Wagyu is tomorrow, and I think if that was a genuine excuse last time out why he didn't run very well, I think he is very much so overpriced. Obviously, he was 4th in this off £5 higher. If he reproduces that form, I think he'll have a very good day, and this could turn into a very good day for John Quinn and Jason Hart with Mr. Wagyu. Another horse I will mention in the race, he's a lot shorter in the betting. This is Kanjar. I think you can forgive him for his run at Hamilton last time out. Not a lot went right for him. He's got the first time cheek pieces on tomorrow, which is very interesting. But Kanjar is a horse, I think he's got a big race in him. He went off the favourite for the Ergo Cup, and if the money keeps coming for him, he could go off the favourite for the Wokingham tomorrow. But Kanjar, for William Haggis and Jim Crowley, he's got an outstanding chance, and he could just be quite well handicapped of 97. But I think Mr. Wagyu, the punter's favourite, I think he has got an outstanding chance if repeating his form from last year. Race 6 on day 5. This is the Golden Gates Stakes. This is not a race I will be spending too much time on, but I think a couple of horses down the bottom of the weights have great chances. Line of War stuck it out at Musselburgh last time out, and I think he's going into this race with a great chance. Son of Roaring Lion, it would be great to get a Roaring Lion winner at Royal Ascot, and hopefully getting Charlie Johnson off the mark at Royal Ascot as well. And this horse is the favourite. This makes its debut in this race, a debutant at Royal Ascot. Ziriab for John Gosden, ran 3 times before and could just be well handicapped off a mark of 88. And the final race on day 5 of Royal Ascot, this is the Queen Alexander Stakes. This is a staying race over 2 miles 6, so it's a long old race, and I think Stratham will complete the hat-trick. He's won at the last 2 Royal Ascots, and there's no reason why he can't go on to win again at the grand old age of 10. Last year at Royal Ascot, he went into the race on only his 2nd run of the season, having 1 prep run, and he's had 1 prep run again this season, and he probably ran a little bit better in this year's prep run than he did in last year's. But he's been well backed, he's owned by a very big gambler, and that to me is only a big plus. But that is day 5, the final day of Royal Ascot. I hope you have enjoyed watching this podcast. Let me get you my nap, my next best, and my each way selection of day 5. So my nap for day 5 is Hookham in the Hardwick. I think he'll really have to underperform to lose this race. My next best is Stratham in the Queen Alexander. I think he can go and do 3 Royal Ascots, his hat-trick of Royal Ascots especially in this race. And I've got 2 next bests. My other next best is Highfield Princess. I couldn't split Highfield Princess and Stratham. I think Highfield Princess will run a brilliant race, improving from the run in the King's Stand the other day. and she is in the Queen Elizabeth II Jubilee. And my final selection, this is my best each way bet. So Mr. Wagyu in the Wokingham, 18 to 1. Lots of places, depending which bookmaker you're with. There's a lot of runners, so you'll get your places. But I'll say them one more time, one more final time. Hookham in the Hardwick, Stratham in the Queen Alexander, Highfield Princess in the Queen Elizabeth II Jubilee, and Mr. Wagyu in the Wokingham. If you've been to Ascot this week, I hope you've had a lovely time. Stay tuned in for more episodes coming up and expect a few guests coming up very soon. Thank you very much.